Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 30 of Down the Hobbit Hole. My name is Emily, and today is Sunday, December the 10th, 2017, and I don't have a watch on, but I think it's around 6 p.m. here. Sun's down, it's pitch black outside, and I figured I'd go ahead and record. I actually recorded on Friday, but there was snow that day, and I was so excited. I tried to just wing it without show notes, and it was a bit of a mess. So, here we are. If you'd like to find me online, I'll put all of the places down below, so you'll be able to find me. And, yeah, I guess we'll get moving on. So, the first order of business is the 100 subscriber giveaway. So we had that open for a while, and thank you so much to everyone who subscribed. I really, really appreciate it, and it's very exciting for me. We had the giveaway over in the Down the Hobbit Hole Ravelry group, and the prompt was, what are you knitting for fall, or what have you been knitting? And our winner of this gorgeous Beautiful Sisters bag. This is the Hillary bag. There's their tag. And they've got Beautiful Sister on the side. They donated this bag for the podcast as a prize for the giveaway. It's got a nice pocket. And the winner will also be receiving this skein of Elven sock yarn. Got one of the ties hanging out. There we go. This is in the Mount Doom colorway. There it is. And this is on our Elven sock base. So the winner was post number 39, and that was Top Cat 62. So congratulations, Teresa. Those are yours, so get in touch with me on Ravelry. Give me your mailing address, and I'll get those out to you as soon as I can. And she said that she's working on a sweater for each of her daughters and a shawl for herself. And she actually has 3 daughters, so that's really impressive. Hopefully this project bag comes in handy in all of your fall knittings. Although I guess now we're into winter, but still. It looks nice. I think this could definitely be used year-round. But anyway, so yeah, congratulations, Teresa. Thank you so much for entering, and thank you to everyone who entered. As we get more subscribers, we'll hit more milestones and have more giveaways, so stay tuned. There we go. So yeah, I think that takes us to knitting. So I haven't been doing as much knitting, and I think I've been saying that most weeks, but no, you know what, I shouldn't say that. I have been knitting, I just can't show you my knitting on the off chance that my swap partner is going to see it. So once the swap is over, which I believe is the 16th, I'll record something after this so you can see what I've been knitting. But I finished up her projects, or the projects I was making for her, so I'll be able to get those out in the mail tomorrow and get them on their way to her, and I hope she likes it. I had a lot of fun making it, and it was a new pattern for me. I hadn't seen it before, and I really like it, so I will show you guys at a later date. So I have been knitting, I just can't show it to you. I've also been working on this guy, my Afterthought Everything socks, and I've started the ribbing. I've got about 12 rows to go, and I get to bind off. The only problem is I wasn't paying much attention. This was the first time I tried a 2x2 twisted rib, but for some reason I'm doing a 1x1 twisted rib. So I think I will go back and fix it. I'm 8 rows in out of 20, but I think I'm going to be really irritated in the future if the cuffs don't match. I thought it wouldn't be a big deal because probably nobody's going to see them. The cuffs specifically, you're probably just going to see the ankle, but it'll bother me. I'll see it every time I pull them up, and I'll be mad at myself that I've let 8 rows get in the way. So I'm going to go back and fix it and get the cuff done because I'd really like to get these off the needles. I think part of the reason that I didn't like these as much is I was trying out the 9-inch circulars for socks, and I really like the 9-inch circulars when it comes to making sleeves, but I feel like for my socks I don't have a high enough stitch count to keep the stitches evenly spaced on here, so I have to do a lot of tugging and shifting. Maybe if I was making socks for Tim it wouldn't be a big deal, but for me I'm doing 64 stitches, so I don't know, they just don't space well on them, so I'm having a hard time of like tugging and pulling, and the cable's already short. So I think I'm going to try with my next pair of socks. I'm either going to try doing basically 2 at a time socks but with no heel, and go in later to add an afterthought heel. So either start at the toe and just work straight until I get to the cuffs, or start at the cuffs and work my way down. Not sure which direction I'm going to go in yet, but my other option is to do the same method where I start at the cuff, work until I get to the next cuff, and then add toes and heels after. So I could do that, but with longer circulars, do it magic loop, and I think I'd enjoy that more too, because the idea switching to this was that I'd have less fussing when it comes to shifting stitches around, because you have to keep moving the needles for magic loop, but I wound up having so many, having to shift so much on the smaller needles, and it was kind of cramping up my hands, so we'll see. I'll try out new ways, and hopefully soon I will find my perfect sock pattern and needles and everything. Oh, and the other item I've been working on outside of my swap pattern is this. This is my Brioche. I've shown this to you before. I started this back when I went to SAF with Christy and some of the other ladies. And so here we are. And what I've been doing, I'm not sure what color this is. I got this in a swap, this blue. I got this in a swap a few years ago, and I'm not sure what it is. But on the inside, I'm using this blue that you see repeating throughout. That is Twist Fiber Studios. It's the Mother of Pearl colorway, which was specific, or which was dyed specifically for Fiber in the Burrow back in, also in October. So I was able to, I'm striping that throughout, and then everything in between is a sample from Miss Babs. So some of them are held double, like this yellow here is held double, but others were around the right weight to be in this, because it's mostly worsted and DK, I think. But you can't really tell with the Brioche the different weights, like it all kind of meshes in together, especially with the fingering weights held double. But I'm really enjoying it. It's actually pretty mindless, and you can like socially knit with Brioche, which I thought it was going to be something that was a bunch of trouble. And yeah, once you get past the bark and burp terminology, if you can just kind of overlook that, it goes really well, or it did for me. But that's kind of the general consensus from our stay in SAF, or our stay for SAF, was that ignoring the terminology helped a lot if you already know enough about knitting, or if you're really confident with your knitting, I should say. So yeah, it's going really well, and I think it was brilliant for Miss Babs to have all those samples, because I was able to try out so many different bases that if I can go, I won't be able to stay overnight because of the pickle, but yeah, see if maybe Tim and I can go to SAF with the pickle for like a day trip once he's born. Oh, yeah, in May. And then I'd like to stock up on more Miss Babs yarn because all of these samples have been beautiful to knit with, and I love all the colors, and I can't wait to get more. I've got a big skein of her Yowza, which I think is a light worsted superwash merino, that I will be knitting some kind of sweater for the pickle, but, and probably wasn't clear, the pickle is what we call the baby currently. So, yes. Once I finish with the first sweater I have planned, I'll be making something else with the Yowza, and I can't wait to work with it because I love it. It's so nice. So, that's pretty much everything I've been working on, which will take us into planned knitting. Oh no! I take that back. I have been crocheting, which I don't normally do, but there was a project I started a while ago, and I mean, this has been in the works for years, and it's a crochet granny square blanket, and it's going to take me a second to get the parts out, but whoop. Here it is. Right now this just kind of looks like a scarf, but here are some of the different blocks. And originally this was supposed to be big enough to kind of fold in half and throw over the back of the couch, so Tim and I could pull it down. It's all Cascade 220 superwash, and I ran out of steam. I finished, I think, just over 25 of them. So I decided, since we went to the doctor Wednesday and we found out we are having a boy, so the colors are perfect, I'm making a little baby blanket. So I'm very excited, and I'm really glad these are going to be in a really nice project, and they won't be just living in my just basket of whips or UFOs, shaming me every time I walk past it. So here is about how wide it'll be. Whoop. And I'll put a border around it, and it'll be a 5x5 blanket. And I had a couple colors with quite a bit left over. So this is the color that I'm finishing it all in. And that'll probably be the border as well, but I don't know. We'll see how much yarn I have left over. I did find that 2 of my squares were crocheted with the wrong hook, so I am crocheting them again to make them slightly larger, so that they'll fit in the blanket. I thought about just kind of blocking them out to be larger, but if I ever have to wash the blanket, which I probably will, I don't want 2 of the squares to get all wonky. So once I get those finished, I can get everything stitched together, because the stitching together is going really quickly, and hopefully I'll have that blanket finished soon. So yeah, and hopefully the pickle likes it and doesn't just instantly reject it, which I don't see a baby doing that, but what do I know? I also want to make, and a huge thank you to Tanya of Hooked on Inkblobs. She sent me a pattern. She gifted me the pattern for the Intrepid fox, which if you watch her podcast, you'll have seen she knitted one herself. And it's this really cute Flopsy Fox pattern. And if you haven't seen her podcast, you should definitely check it out. I'll have the link down below. But yeah, it's so adorable. So I found some hand spun that I want to make out of it. And so this is Jacob wool, and it's all naturally dyed, or not naturally dyed, it's all naturally colored, except for the tweedy little flecks of recycled sari silk that I have throughout it. So this is going to be the fox. I think what I'm going to do is knit the feet to look like he has socks on, and then the rest of it will just be in this color. unless I need some accents somewhere. But yes, really excited. Thank you so much, Tanya. It's perfect, and I'm sure he's gonna love it. So thank you. Oh, and the Intrepid Fox pattern. Who was that by? I don't have it, but it'll be on the screen. So yeah, and the link to that will be down below as well. Anything I talk about, the link will be down there. I didn't use any specific pattern for the granny squares because they are just your standard granny square. So first 2 rounds in one color, and then 5 more in a different color. So yeah, it's been a lot of baby focused crafting at this point. Speaking of which, another one I have planned is the Gramps cardigan, and I told you guys about this before, but now I'm really excited because we know it's a boy, and so I am so excited to make it. I've got this yarn, which I showed you guys before. It's by Magpie, and it's their Swanky DK, so it's superwash merino, cashmere nylon in an 80-10-10 blend. So, and it's Hufflepuff, which, I mean, Tim and I are both Hufflepuffs, so the pickle is definitely going to be a Hufflepuff. Hopefully. But I've got these colors. I'm thinking the sweater will be gray with, or it's like a grayish brown with the golden accents. And I think it's going to be so cute with the little shoulder pads and the pockets. Oh my gosh. And that'll be in the 6 to 12 month size. Yeah. Because that'll be the perfect size for winter here for the pickle's age at that point. So I'm trying to knit everything to where it's going to be weather appropriate based on their age, based on his age. So excited. And Tim is getting a sweater as well. So Tim is totally knit-worthy, and Tim's my husband. He definitely deserves a sweater, and he has not gotten one. So it was going to stay that way. It was. He's a very tall man, and he doesn't like really bulky knits. So I just had images of endless stockinette in fingering weight for him. So I've been a little put off by the thought of knitting him a sweater. But if you guys watch Babbles Traveling Yarn, Grace, she was talking on Instagram about how her husband, or boyfriend, deserves a sweater, and she's thinking about having an epic along all through 2018, and I was like, oh heck yes, I will jump on that. I will definitely be a part of that. Tim needs a sweater. So we went searching for sweaters on Ravelry and knit picks and just looking wherever we could to try and find a pattern, because I knew he was going to want something like a Henley, but I wasn't sure what he would actually like. So I dragged him over and forced him to spend like an hour on Ravelry with me, and we finally decided on the Inishmeane sweater. I'm probably butchering that, but I'll put a picture up here and the name. But it is by Rachel C. Brown, and it's an Aran weight, which I was surprised by. But the first one he liked was a DK weight. But I took my DK weight sweater that I'm wearing. This is the Mama Vertebrae in my Sunfingers colorway. Having a lot of trouble connecting things with words. But yes, so I let him try this, just give it a feel, and then feel the worsted weight sweater that I've been working on, which is my, I think it's called the Snowfall sweater. I haven't done much on it, so that's why I haven't shown it. But you guys will probably see that next week or the week after. But between the two, he liked the worsted more. So we went back to the couple of patterns that we had finally narrowed down to. and I showed him the worsted and the Aran that was left, and he really liked the Aran more. It had, what he wants is a cable up the front, cables working their way up the sleeves, and I think I'm going to slip in cables up the sides up to the underarm, and he wanted it to have more of a Henley look up top. So this one, it just matches all of his criteria. It doesn't have the cable up the side or the front, but I mean, I can do that. There's no problem. Or does it? I don't remember. But either way, he wants to change the cable pattern out anyways. But I'm so excited. But the only concern I have is I don't have a lot of experience with Aran weight yarn. So if you guys have any suggestions, he wants something that's really soft. He was unsure about Cascade 220, just the normal Cascade 220. Said that might be a little too itchy, so we want to go for something a little softer. But if you know of an Aran weight yarn that you've used and you really like, please let me know. We're going to need about 1,200 yards, I think. Yeah. We're gonna need about 1,200 yards. So affordable yarns are yarn suggestions would be appreciated. Sorry, Tesla's pushing against the tripod. He's on the floor, and I think he's just stretching out. So sorry about that. But yeah, I would really appreciate that. I'll open a episode thread over in the Ravelry group, or you can just tell me down below. Either way works. If you have any projects you've made that you can show me, that'd be great. I'm just not sure what I want to get and what'll work out the best. So, yeah, any help, please. And then I think that's about everything I've got planned. The only thing that I have been looking at is this yarn I purchased at SAF from Twist Fiber Studios, and it's Bluegrass Sunrise, and oh, it's so pretty. And I bought this because it was half off, and I figured, well, if it turns out we're having a girl, I can use it. If it turns out we're having a boy, I can use it and just make it for me. And as it turns out, since we are having a boy, this is mine, and I'm thinking what I might make, it's a superwash DK, so I'm thinking I might turn it into socks from, what is her name? Mara Catherine Briner. She has a pair of socks called Playing Favorites, and it's a DK weight, and it's got eyelets on it. They're really cute, and I think they'd look perfect in this yarn. So I may cast those on for me, because I've been wearing my slippers, which are a Tiny Owl Knits pattern. It's her Moonkusa boots. So they're felted ankle boots with all this fringe on them, but sometimes these get to be a bit too much because they go quite a ways up my ankle, and I don't know, sometimes it's a bit much around the house. So if I had those DK weight socks, I could wear those instead, but we'll see. I'm really feeling the urge to cast things on, but I have so many things that need to be finished. I'm trying to restrain myself, so we'll see what ends up happening. I think that's everything for what I've been knitting. One thing we haven't talked about in a while, and this will be very brief, is shop update for MistyMountMakers yarn, which is yarn that I've dyed, and I also have spinning fiber and things like that. We're going to be doing a very small update. I haven't been mentioning them at all on the podcast, so I'm sorry about that. But I will be doing a small update of my Christmas yarn. And so this is the yarn I mentioned last week, or last episode, that I believe Irene sent to Amy of Stranded Podcast. And Irene is, Amy says, her American BFF. So thank you, Irene, again, for sending that to her. But yeah, this is Christmas Cheer. It's on the Elven base. And so we'll have 6 skeins of this going into the shop on Tuesday. And I'll have an Instagram post whenever that goes up. And that's on the Elven base, which is 75% superwash merino, 10% tencel, and 15% nylon. So very cushy, makes very nice, sturdy socks. So yeah, we'll have 6 of those going in, and that'll be the last Christmas update for the year. So if you wanted to get your hands on that, go ahead and do that now, or Tuesday. We will be having a larger update the next week. I've got a bunch of stuff that just needs to be photographed and put online, and I'm going to make the time for it this week and get that up there for you guys. So, yeah. Now I think we'll just go on to life stuff. So as I said, we went to the store, we went to the doctor, and we found out that the pickle is a boy, which is great. We're very excited. And I have been furiously searching through all the knitting patterns I picked originally to see what I want to knit, and like making a new bundle of little boy knits. So that's been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. And we are really like purging the house of anything we don't need anymore. I took tote bags of yarn and magazines to the spinning group and wound up giving all of that away to just whoever wanted it at the spinning guild. And so that was good. And everything's being moved into my office, which I'm really liking the new layout. It's really working out, and I'll give you guys a tour once it's finished. Right now, I can see where it's going, but still a little bit of a mess, so we'll wait until it's finished. But yeah, the nursery, we've got most of the things we can get out, and I'm slowly moving what's left of my stuff out of there from like the podcasting nook, and things that just kind of made their way in there into this room, and we're moving what we can into our bedroom and just getting rid of everything else. So that nursery's coming along and will hopefully be finished soon. The fact that I put up blue paint for the podcast works out really well in that little nook, because we'll probably leave that color there and then paint the rest of the room either a different shade of blue or maybe some gray. Probably gray, but I'm not sure yet. I'm just happily dreaming and like collecting different pictures of inspiration and things that I want to put in there. We spent today putting up our Christmas tree, and we don't have space in our house right now for a proper Christmas tree. So what we did, we had a display we were throwing out, and it was a very nice display. Tim did a great job of making it, and I stained it, but it couldn't fit in the house, and it wasn't something that we could even get in the car to take somewhere for someone to take it. So we wound up taking it apart. No, we're not throwing it out. I'm sorry. We're just disassembling it because different parts of it are going towards different projects. So the stands, the legs, we did end up throwing out one of those, but it's like a 2x2. It's a vertical 2x2 that's about 5 feet tall? 5.5? Maybe 5, because I don't think it's taller than me. I'm 5'2". But I stained it this really nice dark, I think it was a mahogany stain. And Tim, when he built it, it has a bar across the bottom and then 2 supports coming up. And I asked Tim to drill some holes in it. I put some dowels through it, and then I cut down some cedar branches, some pine branches, and grabbed some of the Christmas tree boughs that you can get at Home Depot out by the where they're selling Christmas trees. Any of the branches they cut off, they toss into a bin outside of the tent, and you can go pick up as many as you want. So I grabbed some of those. so I'd have plenty of different textures, and just strapped them all down to those dowels across the front, and now we have a Christmas tree. So I probably got a video here or at the beginning or at the end where you can kind of see it being put together. It's really cool. I really like it, and I think we're going to keep it for next year. So, and we were going to get a Christmas tree, but I think this is so much better because it's made out of trees from our property, sort of, mostly, and Tim made the base and everything, even though he didn't intend for it to be a Christmas tree. It looks really nice. He did a great job. So, I think we'll be using that again next year. But it's got a little Christmas, it's got a little Santa hat on top. And I don't think I'm going to put up any ornaments. I think I really like it the way that it is. It's got an, our stockings are on either side of it. The only ornament I might put up is, I have one that's, it looks like a coffee mug, but it's turned on its side. And inside you see the back wall of a kitchen, and there's a mama mouse and 2 baby mice, and she's baking cookies and like putting them on the table, and you plug one of your lights into it so it illuminates it. I might put that one up because it's my favorite. But the rest of them might stay in the box this year. We'll see. But yeah, we're definitely in the Christmas spirit. But I think that's everything for today. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you guys probably next week, hopefully. See you later, guys. Thanks.